Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Spectrum Drama, where we take a look at the hottest posts on Spectrum for the week and give our opinions on them. So before we get started, don't forget that we are still running our giveaway and you only have a few days left to win yourself the Avenger game package. So if you want to win that, all you've got to do is comment on this and every video in the month of April for your chance to win. And every unique video that you comment on will give you one more chance to win. So yeah, get commenting. So first up we've got a post from Longshot Legion and it says, based on 3.9 PTU, eating and survival are going to be amazing. And so far he's right. He basically sort of says, you know, he's played for a good few hours now, you know, not put a huge amount of time into it, but had a good look around. You know, it's given us a purpose to actually go around all the shops that now have actual food in them, you know, giving you kind of things to look for. Yeah, so far Longshot is loving this survival mechanic. You enjoyed showing me all the supermarkets, I'll call them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. The first time you go around and we were playing around with the drink bottles and throwing them on the floor, and other people were coming in and trying to steal them from us and all that sort of thing. But amazing, I don't know about that. Yeah, I haven't really felt much of the whole kind of survival mechanics that everyone was stressing out about. Yeah, I've gone to the shop, I've bought something, I've eaten it. I have not thought about it ever again. I don't really get like messages coming up saying you're thirsty, you're hungry. So it's really not a big deal from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. It looks more like a mini game that you can just play if you want to at the minute, which is cool, and that's awesome because, you know, if you want that immersion, you want to just, you know, go to a station, you know, do whatever you need to do there, and then think, oh, do you know, I'm going to get a burger and an ice cream.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's really awesome, and it is good. I mean, it needs some tweaking because there were some problems being able to actually just take a sandwich and store it, because the minute you pick it up, it's out of its packaging. So you know, stuff like that. But yeah, for tier 1 or tier 0 or tier 12, wherever they are with this
tier
food
0,
situation,
I guess. Yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I quite enjoyed it, and the mechanic when I was actually drinking, I was quite impressed with that, where it was actually taking the lid off, took a swig, put the lid back on, and then it told you how much of the drink you had left, which is really cool.
Yeah, you would have. Normally games just assume you drink the whole thing and it's gone. At least they've put some thought into it, and you can take sort of small swigs of it as you need, which is a good thing. I think it's a pretty good implementation for the first tier 0, as we call it, of survival mechanics. Personally, I would have liked some other mechanics in first before this came in, but this is what we got, so yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, good enough. And the other thing that was very cool was the actual survival aspect. So when we went outside on our stream last night, there was a lot of the cold feeling that you get when you're actually out in the cold is quite realistic. I mean, you do kind of feel it after a while, and you were completely covered in snow, which was awesome.
Yeah, I could hear my character's teeth chattering and all sorts. It was yeah, it's quite atmospheric. I like the way they're going with it.
Yeah, definitely looks good. So yeah, looking forward to some more survival stuff. I'm looking forward to the time when, yeah, you know, you actually get a routine when you're playing, and you think, right, okay, well, you know, I've been playing now for 2 hours, let's go and get some food, and you know, that kind of thing, just the day to day. It's quite interesting, and I want to be able to poo. Come on, let me poo.
In time.
Yeah. Cool. So next up, we've got a post from Future WhatsApp, and it says, the 3.9 roadmap, when it was added last year, there is clearly something very wrong with the producers and project management, which is quite a statement. But basically what he's saying is it kind of makes him sad that you know, we were supposed to get new Babbage interiors last patch, and obviously that got pushed back. You know, he's saying here COVID-19 isn't an excuse. I think it is quite a valid excuse, but not for the things he's talking about. Yeah. But he's saying, you know, $300 million, you know, most expensive game ever funded, 600 plus employees, you know, development started in 2012, but yet we're missing salvaging, farming, refueling, repair drones, basically all the sort of basic tier 0 gameplay systems. They're just not there. So you do feel it, and I mean, what do you think of this? Do you think that there's something actually physically wrong with the producers and project management, or do you think that maybe this has just gotten away from them?
I don't know. 50-50. I don't think they plan effectively, but on the other side of it, I don't think roadmap is the right term for what we see.
No,
we've said for quite a while now, it's more like a wish list than an actual roadmap, and it's been that way for like since they started it, pretty much. They've kept to it a bit more rigorously in the past, whereas this past probably 6 months has been quite bad in things moving around. So maybe it's just our perception of what they're trying to show us, but part of me does think that they just don't plan effectively. They just, as you can see from this 3.9 roadmap kind of clip image that he's put here, none of the stuff on that roadmap has been given to us in 3.9. None of it.
Yeah.
So there is something wrong with it there. They need, I don't know what they need. They just need to learn to schedule better, I guess. It's all very well kind of planning, you know, in a year's advance. That's fine. But actually now what we're seeing is they're only showing us 6 months in advance now. Maybe this is a reason why, because they realise that they can put whatever they want to go in, you know, 4.8. But we all know it's not going to stay there.
No.
And maybe now they've realised that it's not a good thing for them to try to plan that far in advance and give us a shorter view window, but it's slightly more reliable. I say slightly because stuff's still moving.
Yeah, it's pretty poor. I mean, I think what they really need to do is, so if people haven't seen this before, there is on Reddit, there is a version of the roadmap made by someone else, which kind of shows the progression. It's kind of a lot, you know, we base a lot of our information off of that, plus the roadmap, plus other sources. What I wish that CIG would do is take that idea, right, take every single thing that they have planned in their minds, everything, put it all on a giant list and just increase the percentages as things change. Don't tell us what we might get next month, for example. Just show us everything that you're working on and how things are changing, because doing this list like you see here, where they go, look at all these things you're getting in 2 months time, and then 2 months rolls around and they go, yeah, we could only do 2 of those. You think, well, why did you put them there then? Just do you know what I mean? I just think like like you said, it's not a roadmap, it is more of a wish list. They should call it the possible features list.
The possible maybe we might get around to it wish list.
At some point. I think that's what they need to do. But I just think, show us everything you're working on. Let us know how far through you are. And then we can make educated decisions on what we think's coming next, because maybe we can make a game out of it and it won't annoy us so much.
That's actually not a bad idea. If they literally gave us a whole list of everything they're working on, showing how far through the progression they are with that feature, and then as we come up to the quarterly release, they slot in ones that are almost complete into the next update. And then at least we've got a massive overview of what's being done on what, and we can, like you say, we can kind of guess, judging by the progression of those features, of what is going to be in the next update. Yeah,
definitely make it will make speculation videos more fun as well. You know, on the internet, when you come on here to try and figure out what's going on next, you know, we'll all be having good fun trying to figure it out. But I think also, you know, there's things that they probably are working on now, but they're so beyond like 4.0 or 4.1. And so we'll never see them, not for at least another 2 months, another 2 cycles, should I say. That if they just had a massive list and you could at least see like that particular thing you're waiting for has had, I don't know, a 2% increase in the past 6 months, and you think, well, at least they're doing something on it. At the minute, all we see is nothing, and we just assume nothing is being done. That's the problem.
Yeah. And like you say, there was I think it was this week's Inside Star Citizen. They had a very brief sprint report, but they showed there was 2 things on there which we hadn't seen before. There was it was like a cargo shop. It looked like there was I'm guessing it's part of the cargo deck, but not too sure about it, because there was a shop section where you could buy PPE and like a cargo trolley for your character to push around, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, these were things we hadn't seen before. And there was they showed the Aaron Halo, which is an asteroid field that kind of surrounds Stanton. And they got these massive gateway buildings built by ArcCorp. And they showed some sort of very early test footage of what that could look like. Again, these are things that aren't really on the roadmap as such. So, yeah, I mean, it's really good to see these kind of concept ideas of what they're coming up with.
Yeah. And it's funny as well, actually, because the next post, we'll jump straight into it, is from John Bradley. And it's quite funny because you read it and you kind of think, oh, it's a love letter. It does take a dark turn, my friends. But basically, the long and short of it is John Bradley, who is French, so don't hold that against him. PC Gamer basically brought out an article which was, about how pissed off we are with the recent changes to the roadmap. You'll find it in the link, by the way. And funnily enough, John Bradley was directly quoted out of context. He says, and he says there's in his country there's a saying, which in short means he who likes well chastises well. And I do agree. I know I just took the piss out of you for being French, but I do 100% agree that saying is spot on for pretty much everyone who loves Star Citizen, because the more you love something, the more passionate you are, and then the more angry it can make you. It's why when people fight when they're in love, it's so much worse than when they fight when they're just courting. You know what I mean? It's that because there's more emotion there, and definitely 100% agree. But with that being said, he says, he's pissed off about the roadmap. And that is essentially what this post was about. It's similar, but I just wanted that point to be made at the beginning because it's so well said by John. That the roadmap, essentially, like we've said, is nothing more than a list of goals, but they're just not achieving them. So,
yeah, completely just what we were talking about. Like you say, this post does go a bit dark. It starts off with about what 20 lines of I'm a big fan of this game. I've been a backer since blah blah blah. I've spent this much money. I love CIG, and then he goes, but as these posts usually do, they go dark pretty quick. And he rags on CIG for the roadmap, pretty much just like we just did actually. Yeah. I think probably 80% of the community is kind of ragging on them about this. Not everyone, but most people. Yeah.
And the last line is actually quite apt because there's the backlash of the latest roadmap update is very well deserved, not because of setbacks, but because it is a breaking point of many months of setbacks and disappointments and silence from CIG. It's well said again, John Bradley. Very well said. It's exactly what we're thinking. It's exactly what I think a lot of people are thinking. There's not been enough communication, which we've discussed, and with all the different pushbacks on the roadmap, coupled with everything else, you do get to that point where you think enough's enough. Now we just want answers, and I think that's kind of where we're at, and that is, it's why PC Gamer did a whole spread on it, because it's big enough for them to pick up on.
Yeah. Their article wasn't that great, really. It didn't really go into much detail. It just kind of regurgitated CIG's own roadmap roundup document, which they post every week, and it kind of cited a few players that had spoken out about it, and that was it really. Standard PC Gamer article. It It's interesting that sort of big outlets like PC Gamer are kind of picking up on this sort of thing now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny as well, because if you read the article, there's a bit further down where it basically says it's not all delays though. Some new cards have been added to the 4.0 column, including a souvenir shop in New Babbage and an elevator panel updates. Not quite as exciting as a new world. Exactly, not quite as exciting as a new world, but it is still quite exciting. You know, they are adding stuff, so there's that horrible double-edged sword where you think, it's not what I want, but it's a stepping stone, so you have to accept it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Although what a souvenir shop stepping stone is, I don't know. But
yeah, come on. Who wants a souvenir shop? Like, that shouldn't have been coming anywhere near the PU for a good few years. No one asked for that, but
no,
they chose to go that route. God knows why.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think they just want it so that when you leave your ship, you have to exit through the gift shop. Basically,
pick up a bobblehead.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking bobblehead. Okay, so last up, we've got a post from Shui, and it says, "What is the real reason behind Crusaders Postponement?" And the long and short of this is, Shui doesn't really believe the reasons that were given by the roadmap roundup, which is in their words, the reprioritization with focus on Grimhex and other environmental work in progress, and the additional time it took to complete New Babbage plus COVID. That's kind of their excuse for having Crusader postponed. Do you think that's fair to postpone for that?
No. No. I don't believe they can use COVID as an excuse for moving Crusader back.
No.
We said last week we were talking about this with a bunch of the guys from Discord. Yeah, and we said that there's decent progress being made on Orison, which is the landing zone for Crusader. But there was nothing done on Crusader. This thing's been on there for 6 months and they've made no progress whatsoever. Or from what we can see. We might not have all the information, but from what we can see, they've done nothing with it. Now, Shui's saying that maybe the reason is because they don't know how to do a gas giant yet. They haven't figured it out. They put this thing on the roadmap like a year ago or whenever it first appeared. But maybe they just haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably one of those things where they did like cloud tech, for example. They've got a fundamental understanding of cloud tech, basically, and how that's going to work. That we've seen it, we've physically seen it. And so they probably kind of were working on that and went, look at this, look what I've created. And everyone went, wow. And then they went, well, that's Crusader in a nutshell then, isn't it? And put it on the roadmap and went, we're good. In a year's time, we will have made that massive and planet-sized. And now I reckon they're like, 8-9 months down the line and thought, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this. Maybe. I mean, that is massive speculation, but it does feel that way because there's been no progress made, and they're now kind of like stum, keep it stum, Yeah,
like you say, it could be a real bitch for them to figure out, considering the LODs for a gas giant. Yeah, how would you even do that?
Yeah,
it would kind of look like a solid planet from afar, but as you get closer, it starts to dissipate into a cloud, like a very dense cloud. But this cloud, it can't be static. This cloud has to move.
Yeah, the entire LODs, every LOD from, let's say the second LOD in, would have to be a constantly moving,
swirling thing. Yeah.
That's a mindfuck.
Maybe they just haven't figured out how to do that yet, which is why it's moved back.
Maybe. Yeah.
Seems legit to me. Could be a very good reason. But if that is the reason, I wish they would just said that rather than trying to blame it on COVID.
Yeah, exactly. I won't accept COVID as an excuse for anything because I know that a lot of businesses have shut, but most businesses that haven't shut, working from home now is so simple. Everyone is connected via VPNs. Everyone has connections to their office. Everyone has a PC that's, let's face it, our PCs could have run the planet 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So, I can't see that as a viable excuse to push something back another three months. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't accept that. But I just wish that they would tell us why, because that's the thing I think that bugs the majority of the people the most about the roadmap, and we're back on the roadmap, is the fact that they push something back and their excuse is too vague. They need to actually say, this is the problem we're having with this, not we do some other things and so this just didn't take priority. That doesn't, I don't know, it just, all that does is make it appear like they can't populate their roadmap very professionally. I'm trying to think of a word that we haven't used yet to moan about this roadmap.
The other excuses they give don't really sit well with me either. The reprioritization and focus on Grimhex. What? No, I didn't think the Planet Tech team did landing zones for a start.
Yeah.
And the additional time it took to complete New Babbage. Again, I thought they were different teams, so why is that a thing?
Yeah, it almost feels like they don't, either their teams are very fluid and move in between projects randomly, or they're making shit up. I mean, that we might get proved wrong. You know, someone's going to come in the comments in a minute and say, hang on,
yeah,
you know,
actually,
this is why.
like this.
Yeah. And that's fine if you know. I mean, again, people, please take everything we say with a pinch of salt. This is our opinion. So we're not telling you this is why, but this is our speculation as to why, and it doesn't add up, you know. And I just wish maybe they were, a little bit more open. That's all we want, a little bit of openness. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is all the posts for this week. We hope you liked them. We hope you found them informative or amusing. If you did like them, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And don't forget that this will be pretty much your last chance to get in on that competition to win the awesome Avenger game package. So all you got to do is comment on this and every video in the month of April. So go back now, watch them all if you haven't, get commenting. Every unique video that you comment on in the month of April will count. And also, if you are signed up to our Discord, you actually get an additional addition? That's a terrible way of saying it. To the competition. You also yeah, if you're signed up to our Discord, it gives you one more chance to win. So sign up, chat to us, come be our friends. We love it. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, thanks everyone very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.